back to the kitchen table, or welcome to the kitchen table if you've never been here before. Kitchen table, a place where conversations important and unimportant take place, where people sit around and tell stories lots of times, or in this case, listen to a story which I'm going to tell. And this is a little classier story than the last two I've done, and it was a request. Somebody requested that I do Robert Browning's My Last Duchess, which is a dramatic monologue, which means that it's a speech that could be in a play. But Robert Browning, who wrote the poem, didn't write the play. But it's a wonderful revelation of character, and it's a fun speech to do. There are probably a couple things you should know before we start. My character is a duke, and the Duke of Ferrara, and my wife has recently passed, and I have a painting of her on the wall, which I am showing to you. And you have a character too. You're an emissary of a count. So I'm going to talk about the painting, and your job is to listen as carefully as possible to what I'm telling you, because you're going to have to report back to the count about what I said. We're in a grand palace. The poem probably takes place during the Renaissance, but we're going to make it today. In a grand palace, probably at the top of a grand stairway where the painting is. Apparently the painting, most of the time, is hidden behind a curtain. But when I want, I'll draw the curtain and I'll show people this beautiful woman. There are a couple artists mentioned. They're imaginary artists. Fra Pandolf, he did the painting, all right? He's mentioned a couple of times, so I guess you're supposed to be impressed with that. And there's a sculptor at the end of it, Claus of Innsbruck, who also you should be impressed of. So, it's kind of like somebody walking into your living room and you're pointing out the Picasso that you have on the wall. So that would be impressive. I don't know that there's anything else really that you need to know to understand this and this man's relationship with his wife. So it's a challenge, and give it a try, have some fun, and learn about My Last Duchess. That's My Last Duchess, painted on the wall, looking as if she were alive. I call that piece a wonder now. Fra Pandolf worked busily a day, and there she stands. Would please you sit and look at her. I said Fra Pandolf by design, for never read strangers like you that pictured countenance, the depth and passion of its earnest glance, but to myself they turned, for none puts by the curtain that I have drawn for you but I, and seemed to ask, if they durst, how such a look came there. So you are not the first to turn and ask thus. Sir, 'twas not her husband's presence only that brought forth that spot of joy into the Duchess' cheek. Perhaps Fra Pandolf chanced to say, her mantle wraps her lady's wrist too much, or paint can never hope to reproduce the faint half-flush that dies along her neck. Such stuff was courtesy, she thought, and cause enough to bring forth that spot of joy. She had a heart too soon made glad, somehow, and too easily impressed. She liked whatever she looked on, and her looks went everywhere. So 'twas all one, my favour at her breast, and the dropping of the daylight in the west, the bough of cherry some officious fool cut in the orchard for her, the white mule she rode with round the terrace, all in each would draw from her alike the approving speech, or blush at least. She thanked men, good, but thanked somehow, I know not how, as if she ranked my 900-year-old name with anybody's gift. Who'd stoop to blame this sort of trifling? Even if you had skill in speech, which I have not, to make your will quite clear to such a one, and say, this or that in you disgusts me, or here you miss and there exceed the mark. And if she let herself be lessoned so, and nor set her wit to yours forsooth, and made excuse, e'en then there'd be some stooping. And I choose never to stoop. Oh, sir, she smiled, perhaps, whene'er I passed her. But who passed without the same smile? This grew, I gave commands, then smiles stopped altogether. And there she stands, as if alive. We'll meet the company below, then. I repeat, the Count, your master's known munificence, is ample warrant that no just cause of mine for dowry will be disallowed, though his daughter's fair self, as I avowed at start, is my object. Nay, no, we'll go together down, sir. Notice Neptune, though, taming a seahorse, thought a rarity, that Klaus of Innsbruck cast in bronze for me.